What's up guys, D628 here. Welcome to a new video of the Ford Escape transmission. This has been probably 2 weeks later, I want to say. I don't remember when I took it out, but there it is. We got the new one. So that's the new one. 32,000 miles I think it has. It doesn't show on there, but I think it was 32,000 miles. 6F35 transmission used from a 2016 Ford Escape 1.6 liter with the all-wheel drive. So that one will be going in. I've been just kind of reorganizing things. I'm gonna lift the vehicle and take it off of those jack stands and put it on these jack stands. These are 6-ton ones and they're just bigger. That way I don't have to use the jack. I might still use it, but that way I can squeeze that in there and lift it up. I need to get the rear calipers and the front, or the rear brake pads and the front brake pads replaced. Those came in, so we're gonna replace those. Yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm hoping to finish within a week. I'm gonna do a new mod on this car. I'm gonna do the Fast and Furious Jesse's Jetta mod and just take off the brakes, because since it'll have a new transmission, I'm thinking that we can just use engine braking on it and it would save us money on brake pads and stuff. So that's what I'm kidding. Okay, so I'm taking the brake pads off because the front ones were really bad. So that's what the front looks like. That's what it's supposed to look like. So the fronts were definitely worn. This is the inside side. You can see the beef on this one. Replacing those, I'm replacing these ones as well in the back, even though they're honestly fine. But I never even inspected them. But I bought rear ones too, so they probably have like 3/4 life left on them. But might as well have all brand new ones. Went with some Bosch ones. So yeah, getting those replaced. Pretty simple. Just unscrewing those two there, popping the clip off. Caliper comes off and we replace it. So I don't know how the rears go. I've never replaced rear pads, but we'll see how it goes. So the fronts are all done. I'm doing the rears, and yeah, looking at it, definitely didn't need to be done, but at least it'll be all 4 fresh ones and we'll be done. But yeah, we're gonna get these rims replaced, and then yeah, tomorrow we'll start the transmission and hopefully be done in a week. Can't do the brakes. It's night. I haven't been just doing the brakes the whole time, but I can't do the brakes right now because I need the thing to open up the piston, caliper, whatever you want to call it, and I don't have that one. You can normally do it with needle nose pliers to get the little 2 holes. The freaking flashlight's right in the way, but those 2 little holes there, you normally have to just rotate that clockwise to open it up more. But we have one, but it's not for this car, and I could not get it with the needle nose. It was just bending it fully, so whatever. But I was kind of working on the transmission, switching out the axle seals. So I got these from Amazon and got this one replaced. Good. This one needs to be seated in more, but I don't have anything to push it in more right now, because my biggest fear, and that's why I ordered these magnetic bits, is on these torque converter nuts here. On these torque converter nuts, I have it in here, but this is magnetic, and you can see it like even connects to that. It's super strong magnet. If you're doing this job, I highly recommend doing this, because if you're just doing it without one and that nut falls in there as you're doing it, you have to take it all off to grab that nut and put it back on. It's not like a huge pain, but it's a pain. Like if that happened, I would be pissed. So I got the magnetic ones a while back to make sure that doesn't happen, because that motherfucker is in there and I have to like pry it out to get it out. So super strong magnets, which is awesome. Came with the whole set for like I think 40 bucks, and yeah, super neat. Now I have magnetized ones, which is nice for doing certain jobs when it comes to very tight areas that you're scared of the bolt falling or the nut falling. Anyways, new brake pads in the front, look nice, good contact, and that's that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow once we actually start the job. All right, brakes are all done. I got this tool here, which was almost useless, barely helped, but it worked, I guess. Anyways, it's for the piston or whatever. All right, transmission time. So right now, the biggest worry I have is this seal that I replaced. So this one here is good, but this one here, I don't know how deep it's supposed to go. I should have inspected it before I took it off. Obviously I have the old transmission, and this one here is not as deep, so you can see the seal is a little bit out compared to that first ring that you see there. But on this one, as I put it in, it's a little bit deeper than this seal. So now I'm like worried about that not being where it's supposed to be. Now I'm confused because I'm looking at this video now and I just realized, I'm gonna zoom in. So this is the side of the transfer or the torque converter. So obviously I'm just on the opposite side, and his is blue, mine's red. But this seal here is sitting flush with this. But even on my old one, it's like this. And when I took it out on this one, it was like this. Why is his like that? Now I'm extremely confused. His is a different motor. It's a 2.0, but it's the same transmission and everything. That's odd. Now I'm actually confused. Because yeah, when I took it out, it was like that. It was inside. I don't know if I have the old seal. Because that seal is like this one, right? So obviously this one's damaged because I was taking it out. But that's like this one. It sits flush with it, right? Same on that one. But this seal is a completely different seal. It's like this part goes in. So the metal goes in, and then this and that sits inside. The video that I've been mainly watching from Team DIY, Team DIY now, he goes over changing the seals, and he provides great video if you're switching a Escape transmission. He does a really good tutorial. But on his, he only goes over this side, so the side that I did on that side, but he does not go over on the side I need help with. So I don't know how his looks. Let me actually go through. No, see, his is inside too, like mine. So, and his is a 1.6. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm just gonna call it there. That was weird timing about me saying I'm done, but I wasn't because the battery died, whatever. Anyways, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna install it because I was thinking it would suck, but at the same time I don't have to take everything out like I said earlier, because if it does start leaking from there, or there's an issue with that bearing, once it's in the transmission, I just have to again do all this shit to take out the axle, and then I can replace it from there. So I don't have to do the whole job, but I only have to do like 5% of the job. So that won't be too bad when I'm thinking about it like that. I think everything else is prepped. I'm gonna take this off. I got the solenoid number off of that, so whenever you're putting a new transmission in, make sure you get the solenoid number. If it doesn't have a sticker, make sure it has something with the number. That way you can do it. But yeah, hopefully this fucking transmission works and it's good. Also, another thing, this car's been sitting now for 2 weeks since I've done the transmission, somewhere around there, and it's still leaking shit. I even have like that with a tissue in it, but it's still leaking stuff. It's been leaking constantly. I'm like, but in every video I watch, not one drop of fucking fluid, even though I drained everything. Fucking annoying. Anyways, let's fucking do this. That's the first step, is getting the transmission in there. All right, we're like 90% done from the job. Now I just want to make sure that we're in there, because you have to kind of raise the car if you're on jack stands, and then I just lowered it back once it's in. Want to make sure that all the cables are out of the way and hoses and all that stuff. So hey, but yeah, that part's like one of the sketchiest parts, just because you're not on axle stands and you're just on the jack and all that. But yeah, 90% of the way, we're almost done. Now we just want to make sure that we're able to clear all of this stuff and then get it lined up with there. And now pretty much one of the hardest things is to have the torque converter, these 4 nuts that are on there, to be going into the whatever this is called. So there's 4 holes on that coincide with these 4, and that's the 4 that you take out that are pain. So if you put this all in, take it in, and then you start putting those screws in and it falls, that's where you have to take it all off and grab those screws again. So that's why I got the magnetic ones, to make this job easier. But pretty much I lined up with using the starter little hole here, because that's where the last one was taken out, and that motor won't move unless you move it with the pulley right over there. And now just making sure that these are lined up as close as they can, so it is like somewhere in the middle. Obviously you can reach in there and kind of do it, but once it's in, you'll put it in there. I just want to make sure that all these hoses and stuff are moved out of the way before I start raising the transmission up. So we got the whole rat's nest in here that I want to make sure is cleared. All right, looks like everything is out of the way on here. I'm gonna move, this is the ground wire, I can just move that up a little bit. I just want to make sure that nothing is snagging as we're going up. I got one hose down here. This is me while I'm editing this video, but if you're watching this to use it as a tutorial, please stop, because I do not know what I'm doing. But what I wanted to say is this right here that's circled on the screen, the transmission cooler, whatever, take that off fully, because you will see later in the series of me putting this all back together, it becomes a headache later because I have to kind of take off all the hoses, not realizing that I did this completely wrong, and that yes, you should take the oil cooler completely off of the vehicle when you're installing this, and install it as you're putting the transmission in without the hoses or anything. You will see that in the future, but yes, that's all I want to say. Do not use this as a tutorial. It's more for just seeing a fat man do something. But yeah, anyways, enjoy. We're pretty squared away. There's literally nothing else in the way of the transmission. Even looking from here, it looks like we have a pretty clear getaway. We just have to pull the transmission forward a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna start raising it, but those are the holes right there. I'm trying to point a light at it, but that hole, I think, right there. So there's 4 of those, and see how it's matched up with that little lip thing where the starter goes. So that's why I have the torque converter matched up with that. That way it's a little bit easier to get it, because once you get those holes in there, then that's like the hardest part. And then you just have to put the bell housing bolts on and stuff, but we'll get there when we get there. You would think we live in Bakersfield or some ghetto part of, even though those are firefighters, but every day, maybe 10 sets of sirens that I hear. I feel like I live in the freaking ghetto. Every day. Fucking, I'm so sick of this place. So one thing that would be nice to have is a transmission jack that's hydraulic and not just a ratchet one, but it will have to do. One thing I need to do is grease this. So this right here is just multi-purpose grease that we're putting on this part around here, not in the inside, but just around. Just a little thin layer. That way it's greased up for when it goes into the guiding area. I'm just trying to use a paper towel so I don't get it on my fingers. That way my hands aren't slippery. But just a nice thin layer. That way it's got some lubrication. Always wear ear protection, especially when working with impact. For me, it's just too loud. I hate it. But we're gonna raise it up a little bit. I really wish I had a hydraulic one, because that way you can actually guide it, because I don't know if it's not my impact wrench. I could use a ratchet, obviously, but I don't know if it's because there's something in the way. I guess I can move this jack now. But yeah, we'll see. Nothing's being blocked anywhere from what I'm seeing. Alright. I'm just using a torque wrench. It's got more length. Yeah, if you're working on a lot of transmissions, definitely get like an actual transmission jack. But for now, this will do. Alright, we're gonna have to take it off of the straps, just because, again, the design of this thing is just not quite there, and putting the ratchet here, you have no leeway. So actually we have to go lower, because I can't even take it off because of this thing. Yeah, it's a really, really bad design by Pittsburgh on this one, I'm not gonna lie. It's good to hold it and stuff, but I don't know, for full-blown like installations, I just feel like it's not the greatest thing that exists. Alright, the only thing I was snagging was the silicone tube right here, but I just have to get it past that point to be able to move it. Just going in there quite swell. Only thing is, I feel like it's angling a lot, and I'm trying to see how to combat that. So now it's snagging there. Yeah, I just feel like it's angling, but I'm gonna try to push this a little bit, even though I guarantee it's not gonna do anything, because it fucking just slides. This is what I'm talking about. It's like angling quite a bit. Like, obviously that's supposed to be more straight, but once we get it somewhat to a level, I'm gonna push it back a little bit, because obviously we're not straight on that aspect. It's just, again, this thing, because it's just a slippery plate and there's not like holders, it's kind of useless when it comes to trying to adjust the transmission anywhere, because it just slides. But we might be able to do something. I'm just trying to clear the subframe, because once we pass that point, then we can adjust it a lot more. But if I can't push it back more from the subframe, then that's where the issue becomes apparent. I'm just trying to figure out how to tilt this, because we're pretty lined up when it comes to, like, obviously not perfect, but we're getting close to meeting there and all that. There's nothing snagging, which is good. I moved everything out of the way really well using bungees. Only thing would be like pushing this. I might go get a rubber mallet. Yeah, it's not moving. Yeah, because we're lined up. We just need to get it tilted back. And the more I raise it, the more it just tilts, because I need like more weight to be right here on this side. But it's such a bad platform, I'm not gonna lie. This jack is pretty fucking dumb. It's a pretty bad jack, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it should be more squarish in my opinion. I guess for every, there's different transmission shapes and stuff, so it's probably not the best for side mounted transmissions like this. More for like rear wheel drive. I know like the 350Z like transmission is like a long angular tube that gets like skinnier towards the drive shaft or something, if I remember correctly. A lot of like rear wheel drive cars I think are like that, so I feel like for that application it's not bad. But for this, when it's more of a cubish transmission, not the best. But I need to take a shit. I'm gonna go take a shit. Tilting more. Oh, it's barely sitting on it now. That's kind of sketchy. It's gonna fall back. Fuck. Pretty much just start at square one again. It's fully moved off of it. And like this thing is not straight, so like if it falls in a divot in there, and then it just sits angled. My neighbor has a transmission jack or something that he said I might just use it, because this thing is pretty fucking useless. I'm trying to slide it more to the right so it has more angle to the right.
Mind you, this is like a 200-pound transmission, and I'm moving it like it's nothing. That's how slippery that surface is on this jack.
It just slides on it though, man. This thing is so fucking stupid. Alright, so if we try that again. And then it just slides. Come on. It's already tilting right. The freaking caster won't move to the right, man. I'm trying to move the transmission while the caster stays, but it freaking won't. It just moves the transmission. It will not move the caster. Oh, this thing is fucking useless. Fully slipped off. I'm holding it with my knee now. God, this thing is fucking dumb as shit. I'm gonna go see if I can get it from him, because this thing is it sucks that we cannot return this, because this was a fucking waste of money, genuinely. Now I'm trying to slide it. All right, it's sitting. Yeah, do not buy that freaking Pittsburgh thing. That thing is fucking utterly useless, genuinely. That shit almost just fully fell because it just will not, it just slides all on it. So I'm gonna see if I can go grab his if he's outside working, but don't buy that fucking product. Horrible.